Hello, welcome to your Economics IB course. This is unit number 1.1 task. Let's analyze the first headline. The car industry is pressuring the government on CO2 emissions, which the firms say is reducing profits. The first reflection is that companies in the car industry may want fewer regulations to reduce production costs and maintain higher profits. So imagine that you are part of a company of this industry. You don't want so many restrictions. You don't want so many regulations. The more regulations you have, the less profits you get. So it's better to have fewer regulations so that you can increase your profits. But this raises questions about the balance between economic interests and environmental responsibility. So it's very important to see both sides. Now, what is the relevance of this piece of news? The concept of intervention is evident here. We saw that in the previous unit. An intervention, government intervention, it's a key element because companies want to influence the government policies. They want to achieve economic efficiency. So there should be a trade-off, a sort of balance between economic well-being and sustainability. These are very important aspects to take into account. Well, this is a macroeconomics issue. Why? Because it involves the government regulations, and this impacts an entire industry. This is the second piece of news. President Lee Hsien lowers income taxes to stimulate spending. Income taxes are impuestos, los salarios o los ingresos. So if the president lowers taxes, this has a specific purpose to increase or boost spending. So the reflection comes here. When taxes are lowered, consumers spend more money because they are increasing their disposable income. Disposable income is a very important term that refers to ingreso disponible. All the money that you get during the month is your income, but not all what you have is what is disposable. After paying bills on different and you have different expenses, you have money for you. That is disposable income, ingreso disponible. So this reflects the interdependence between government policies and individual economic choices. So whenever government lowers taxes, people have the chance to spend more and vice versa. This is a reflection. Now, what about the relevance? There is an important concept here, and that is intervention. When the government actively influences consumer behavior, it is enhancing economic well-being because people have the chance to buy more. So you boost the economy. And this is also related to efficiency because lowering taxes aims to stimulate economic activity. Now, the issue, this is a macroeconomics issue because it involves government policies that affect the whole economy. This is a second piece of news. Let's move on to the third one. Take a look at this picture. We have an example of a sort of fusion being blocked. So the Nasarawan government has blocked a merger between the two largest mobile service providers to protect consumers. What is a merger? In Spanish, merger is fusión. So when two big companies merge, so there's a fusion, there's a result of a bigger one. This is example of LATAM. It was LAN and TAM. So the merge of these two companies resulted in LATAM. for instance. So coming to this topic, the reflection is that when a merger is blocked, this suggests a concern for consumer protection. So possibly to prevent monopolistic practices. What happens when a company is powerful and it becomes even more powerful? They might incur into monopolistic practices. What does that mean? Monopolistic practices are all the activities carried out by a company to increase prices because they are the only ones in the market. Of course, this affects consumers greatly because they have reduced choices and higher prices. Now, the relevance is that here we have a concept, the concept of equity. The concept of equity is at play here because the government intervenes to ensure fair competition. The more competition there is in a market, the better it is for the consumers. When more companies are competing, they are improving their service or product. And therefore, consumers gain. This is definitely a microeconomics issue because it involves specific industries. Take a look at the headlines, the mobile service providers. Okay, specific industries and companies. Let's move on to the next one. Take a look at the photograph. We have unemployment climbs to its highest rates in 2 years. Well, the reflection is that higher unemployment rates can lead to economic and social challenges. When people lose their jobs, this has a negative impact on the economy because it reduces consumer spending and increases reliance on government support programs. The government has to support these people so that they can engage back into the market, the work market, the labor market, to be more specific. Now, what about the relevance? This scenario reflects the concepts of economic well-being and efficiency. These two terms are very important, economic well-being and efficiency. High unemployment can result in wasted human resources and a decline in overall economic well-being. So when people are unemployed, what happens to human resources? They are not used effectively. As a consequence, economic well-being is impacted negatively. This is a macroeconomics issue because it involves the overall state of the economy and its impact on labor market. So the labor market is affected on the whole as an aggregate, macroeconomics. And well, here we have in 2017, a leading soft drinks producer reported that it spent approximately $4 billion on advertising globally. The significant advertising expenditure aims to create brand awareness and maintain or expand market share. So that means, in simple, the more a company spends on advertising, the better it is to maintain market share. Market share is an important word. That is participación de mercado. What is that market share? Market share is a percentage a company has of the pie, okay, in the market. So this raises the questions about the trade-off, okay, the conflict between spending on advertising or other potential uses of resources. So they have perhaps an opportunity cost. If this company was not spending so much money on advertising, what could it be doing? Perhaps it could be investing in improving the quality of the product, which has a positive impact on consumers as well. So here we have an example of opportunity cost. Well, what is the relevance? This relates to the concept of choice. because the company allocates means distributes resources to advertising to achieve specific business goals. The advantages include brand recognition, while the disadvantages may involve the opportunity cost of not allocating those funds elsewhere. As I was telling you, there is an opportunity cost of not spending the money on something else, paying more to the workers, improving the quality of the product, etc. Well, this is definitely a microeconomics issue because it involves decision-making of a specific company within an industry. Okay, here we have Prime Minister Cornish has announced that she will put a 10% tariff on imported shoes. Tariff in Spanish is arancel. Tariff is a word, it's a type of tax that is imposed on products that are imported. Why does the government impose a tax on imported products? Well, the main idea is to protect the market, the local markets. So imposing a tariff on imported shoes has the objective to protect domestic shoe producers, so the local market. And as a consequence, generate revenue for the government. This is a keyword, revenue. Revenue means ingresos. Of course, the government gets money from this type of taxes, tariffs. However, it also prompts consideration of potential consequences as higher prices for consumers. If the government increases the tariff on these imported shoes, what is going to be the consequence? Companies that import those shoes will increase the price to consumers. This definitely impacts on the market. The relevance. This situation highlights the concepts of interdependence and equity, two important words, because the government wants to make a balance, wants to strike a balance between the interests of domestic producers and consumers. This is a trade-off. Now, what are the advantages? The advantages include helping domestic industries. If the prime minister decides to increase a tariff, he's definitely protecting the local market. Now, what is the disadvantage? It involves potential increased costs for consumers, as I previously said. This is definitely a macroeconomics issue because it involves government policy that affects trade relations and the overall economy. Thank you very much.